All right, the last vine we looked at was a younger vine. We had an old vineyard across the road that was planted in 2010, and it's not really common practice to transplant. We tore them out pretty brutally, right back to the taproot, and put them in here just to see if we could salvage them. Many did take, a few did not, but for the most part, you know, grapevines are extremely tough. So you see we have much more vigor on this vine than the younger ones, and a bit more of a lot of options here on pruning. We have to get rid of almost all this wood. We need to clean up, you know, things we're not going to use, but it's, you know, it's now pretty clear that we have a really nice position below the fruiting wire here. So we want to keep this. This is at the head of the vine is right at the wire here, so we need to be careful about keeping too much here. We're going to end up above the wire. So we've got some good options. We got this below and this below, so this is going to form the two sides of the vine. So we can, you know, the crown here, we want to just start to clean. Obviously these are things that are not going the right direction. We want it fanning out bilaterally. Need to clean off all the fruit. The birds got some things last year, which we'll need to rectify this year. So we lost some production last year. And this bud, you know, this is going down. We obviously don't want that. We have plenty of positions we can use for the renewal spur next year, so we're gonna take that away. You notice once you clear out the vine, you know, you can see this much easier. It's not nearly as hard. This is a pretty good renewal spot. I'm just gonna keep that just in case.
So what makes this such a good renewal spot?
It's sort of a backup. I mean, ideally, I think we have one here that's lower, but right now in my first pruning, I don't want to cut too much. I want to give myself options for the future. So I'll generally do a first pass and then come through even later and maybe just clean it up a touch. And also, you know, when things start to bud in the spring, you get a sense of where things are moving, and you can also take things off once things are budding out and just clean up a little bit. So that's not really an issue.
And what rootstock have we got here?
What are we on? I'm not sure. Is this 5C or I don't know.
We'll have a look in a
I'd have to see
minute.
the end of the row. All right, we're gonna take you away. This vine had lots of vigor last year. You can see it was produced a lot of nice canes for a vine that was torn out of the ground a couple of years ago.
And so why is it not normal practice to transplant grapes?
Most of the time it's probably just cheaper to plant. You know, grapevines aren't terribly expensive, so.
And they're hard to get out.
They are hard to get out. That was definitely a bit of digging. But you know, when you're doing small volume like this and something as sentimental as the vines from, you know, your first planting in 2010, it's just across the road. Why the heck not? So, all right. So we've got. The question is, what do we want to keep for the bulk cane for the this is a really good one. It's coming out. We need to move it. It needs to come off this direction and obviously go the way we want it to. So that's gonna get moved over. Again, we're just trying to create an architecture for the vine. We do not need sides, so we get rid of those. It's really important to take your time with these. So now we've got a cane that'll be the fruiting cane. Our best position, we might get a bud here that can replace next year or here. We're gonna have to see what happens with that, but we're gonna take this stuff away because it's not needed.
So some of these look quite dramatic cuts.
Yeah.
But
yeah, again, you take 90% of the vine away. In common pruning practice with replacement cane pruning. So, you know, ideally I'd love to take that off later. But for now, we're just gonna have to keep a little regenerative point there. These are old vines, they're not perfectly shaped, so you just have to work with each one individually. You know, we've got what we need, so this will become next year's fruiting cordon. Just gonna move that over out of the way. So now I'm starting to see.
oh, that's cleared it out nicely.
See what my options are. I think this is probably the one I'll keep. Actually, no, I've got a lower position, so we want this right here. And then this is actually perfect because we've got one above the other, and now we can have a replacement that's slightly lower than this year's cane. So these are going to go away.
So if you want to keep it low, would you potentially in a few years take this down? Or would you
Depends on
not?
if you had a healthy bud. You don't always get buds on trunks that old, so you have to be very careful and sometimes just accept what it is, because there's no guarantee that you'll get that. Okay, this goes. This also goes. We've got lots of canes here. So we are going to keep this. What's going there? Now this can be tied back. This will be our fruiting cane, and there's another position for next year to replace this cane. So we'll get our ties. As things warm up and these get more flexible, we can start to shape them. But for now, it's just about getting them cleaned out, getting things.
And so if you move those over, we can see just how dramatic that looks. But actually, it's really good for the vine. There we go. Thank you, cleanup man.
Yeah. There we go.
Ta-da! And so if we look, from that one to this one, good job.
Here we are.